Now we've just kind of got we're back to our backlog, and thank
Okay.
you, Andy, for filling in for me, and I apologize for having to duck out like that.
Perfectly fine.
Bunch of things happening today. So let's see. The one that I was looking at is somebody submitted a question about the 5 torches. Could they be referring to the 5 dragonflights? I think we've touched on this a little bit,
Yeah.
but with what we've seen of Dragonflight that's been revealed, is there possibly more to it now?
Okay, so I think it's 100% that the 5 torches refers to the dragonflight. You know, it says that the five lanterns now darkened, the flame they seek will light the master's way. And prior to that, that's the iterated version of the whisper. The whisper prior to that, right, is that there's 5 torches to light the way, 5 keys to open the path. No, five torches to light the path, 5 keys to open the way. So the number 5 is incredibly prevalent. And then this flame they seek, it just makes sense. The dragonflights are desperately seeking for their power back, right? They want to reinvigorate themselves. They want to become the dragonflights once again. The issue is the Dragon Isles have lain dormant for a really long time on a planet that have been, at least to some extent, massively corrupted by old god elements. So the power that these dragonflights are going to get, is that still going to be the raw, pure power that they had from the start? Considering everything that Deathwing has done, considering the levels to which Deathwing went in order to sacrifice them, the creation of the demon soul or the dragon soul, the experiments that he did. Excuse me. There is a very good chance that Deathwing is well prepared for whatever the dragonflights are up to. There's a very good chance that Deathwing isn't just running into this sort of blindly. Deathwing knew that he would ultimately fall, and that his death would sort of bring about the hour of twilight. But remember, it's called the hour of twilight. It's not called twilight. That's not what Deathwing ushered in. Deathwing only ushered in the hour of twilight. In other words, the start of the end. He wasn't the end. So what if everything that Deathwing did was to get the dragonflights to sort of need their power again, only this time the power sources that they will receive will not be pure. It would already have been corrupted by the old gods gaining access to all of their shrines, gaining access to all of their artifacts. This is what Deathwing, this is what he had to do. I would argue that makes sense to me. Of course, this pushes us right back into the sort of 5D chess state. Right? We have another character that is just playing 5D chess. And I feel like after the Shadowlands and the fiasco with Zuval, I don't know how interested I am with, another 5D chess player. Just this, oh god, he thought of everything kind of thing. I don't know how much I like that.
At least with Deathwing, he's more established than Zuval. I mean, that's not
True.
saying much for, the narrative that is, but he at least has more of a story than Zuval ever did.
I mean, that is true. At least with Deathwing, we know that he did experiments. We know that he corrupted a lot of things. So there is definitely the opportunity to write in that he corrupted the Dragon Isles as well, right? And it would make sense because he did do a lot of things. And even now with the start, like all the alpha stuff, we already discover things that we never even knew Deathwing had done, like the Drakthir, for example. It is an experiment that he conducted and it's stuff that he created, but we never knew about this. And it's easy to believe that he did it because we know that that's the kind of stuff that he kept himself busy with. So I think in that regard, yes, it would probably not be as hard to believe as Zuval. Zuval sort of came out of left field and then suddenly turned into a chess master, which was difficult for everyone to stomach because, again, he came out of nowhere. So, yeah, I could see them doing that. Was Deathwing with or against the elements? He was definitely not with them because we have that sort of story about Therazane, all the way back in Deepholm, where they kind of had an agreement. He sticks to his own. He doesn't fucking interfere, and they'll let him sort of be there and recuperate, right? The elements tend to just do their own shit. I don't think he was ever really I don't think he was ever for or against them. I don't think they are. It's very difficult to trust the elements, because the elementals only answer to the elemental lords, and the elemental lords are chaotic as fuck. So you'd be hard pressed to form any sort of alliance with them anyways, just because they tend to do their own shit, and they're far more interested in each other than they are in sort of the dragons or anything of that regard. So yeah, that would be my answer, although there could be a million different answers to that, obviously. Moni, do you have anything to add there?
One. I mean, it makes sense because we have 5 Dragonflights, and the fact that now the Dragon Isles are awakening. There's definitely it's not really happenstance that Whisper and this expansion may be tied together. I'm curious to see how much of the Dragon Isles has any void corruption to it, because if I'm not mistaken, the very first pitch of the Dragon Isles, when they were going to include it, I think back in vanilla, it was going to have like the corpse of an old god on it, or there was something related to old gods there, because it had this giant Nautilus type creature like we had seen in Vashir. The ones that we went inside.
Yes.
So I think it was supposed to be heavily implied that the Dragon Isles were corrupted by the Void, and that might have just been supposed to be the physical representation of like the Void getting their talons into Deathwing.
Yeah.
But as we've seen so far with the Dragon Isles, they're pristine, except for the inside races that are now waking up, seeing the dragons are gone, and are like, well, I'm going to take this thing over.
Yeah, but that's remember, the corruption would also have lain slumbering, right? The corruption would have also been slumbering and just sort of waiting. With the awakening of the Dragon Isles now, there is a very good chance that the corruption have now awakened as well. We already see all the markings there. The Infinite Dragonflight has returned, and that is a very sort of old god-esque element within the story. During the Hall of Cataclysm, the Infinite Dragonflight was very, very real as one of the agents of this destruction. So I would argue there's a very... And also, remember, Nalfarian was corrupted by the old gods. it stands to reason that he would have given his masters access to at least his sanctum. And by gaining access to his sanctum, they would have gained access to all of the Dragon Isles. And of course, they would have wanted access to all of the Dragon Isles, because why not? I actually believe that this is why the Dragon Isles is finally waking up again. I think the Dragon Isles was closed due to old god corruption. So this is just a theory. I could be completely wrong, but what if the dragons, after realizing that Nalfarian is, sort of no longer the brother that they always had, they start to sense this corruption in the Dragon House. They start to realize that shit, there's bad things here, right? And so they close it down. They completely shut it off from the world until we've dealt with the old gods. So once the old gods have been dealt with, we've killed all of the old gods, now we can return, because now the Dragon Isles is safe. But what if they're not safe? Because we already know that the corruption of the old gods can linger for a very, very, very long time. So
true.
There is always that outside chance that we have only just seen the start of this old god thing. The bigger question, however, is Xal'atath says it will light the master's way, which suggests that if the Dragonflight truly is the key to all of this, they are going to usher in an actual fucking Void Lord. Not just some corruption, not just like corrupted dragons. They are going to bring back the masters, right? And what's interesting is Xal'atath says the masters return, right? They will usher in the masters return. Return? As if they've been here before. Amethyst Luna, thank you so much for the 15. Really appreciate that. Thank you. You're far too kind. I really appreciate the donation.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense that the Void Lords would have had contact with Azeroth at the start in order to plant the old gods on them like they did. At least it would make sense to me that that would happen kind of naturally.
I can see that. Yeah, I think I can see that. There's nothing else to that question, right?
No, it was just with everything that we're seeing now, what more can kind of be extrapolated out of that?
Yeah. I do apologize that I don't have anything more for you. First, my voice is still fucked, so I'm finding it pretty painful to speak. But more importantly, there is just currently not much. But I promise you, I am keeping my eyes and my ears open for literally every bit of information. So the second I have any information that shades a little bit more light on this scenario, you will be the first to know. I promise you that.